Hey, how is everyone doing today? It is Christy here, and I'm going to make my homemade deodorant. Now, this is not an antiperspirant. An antiperspirant is going to prevent you from perspiring by clogging up the pores under your arms. And normally that is done with an aluminum-based product. I have read many resources on aluminum in deodorant, and I do not like what they have to say about what it can do to my body and what it can lead to. And so I choose to make my own deodorant. Now, a deodorant is going to be deodorizing. It's going to help prevent unwanted odors from the bacteria that comes from your sweat. So I will find that I do apply this a little bit more than a store-bought antiperspirant. If it's an extremely hot day, if I'm sweating, if I'm about to go work out, I will reapply it. Now, it's extremely easy, inexpensive to make. I have a GMO-free cornstarch, baking soda, and my organic coconut oil, along with my oils. And the recipe is extremely easy. I'm going to use a quarter cup of each of my base products. So I have a quarter cup of my cornstarch. And sorry, I'm kind of getting low here, so I'll have to scoop it more than once. So I have a quarter cup of cornstarch, a quarter cup of baking soda. I like to keep this in a mason jar just because that box normally gets crushed in my pantry. And then I'm going to use a quarter cup of my organic coconut oil. Now, my organic coconut oil is going to be my base. It's going to be my carrier oil for this deodorant. And one thing about your coconut oil that you will notice, it changes in texture depending on the temperature of the day. Now today it's almost 80 degrees outside. It's pliable, but I am in the house. You will find that on a warmer day, your deodorant will be a little bit more pliable than on a cold day. But what I do is on a cold day, I just kind of warm it up in my hands or just keep my finger on it for a few minutes, or not a few minutes, I'm sorry, just a few moments while it's warming up from my body. So I'm just going to take those three ingredients. I'm going to just start mixing it up. Think of if you're making biscuits, you're just kind of smashing the coconut oil into the powdered mixture. And it will take a moment to just combine together. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you the oils that I'm using for this deodorant. Now, these are Young Living oils. And the oils that I chose for their properties, not necessarily the smell. But if you would like a feminine smell, certainly you can use something like lavender or rose, even though that's a pricey oil, so not many people have that around. You can use a different sort of flowering herb or flower petals. You can use a citrus scent. Men, I've seen that some men like cedar wood. So you can choose your oil based on scent, or you can choose your oils based on property. And since I know sweat is normally bacteria, and I end up with bacteria underneath my arms, I want to prevent buildup as much as possible. And so I'm going to use two oils that I have found work really well for helping me to stay fresh. I have found that I sweat less with this, even though it's not an antiperspirant, but it is a deodorant. I just really like the combination of these oils, and my body works well with this combination. So as you can see, I have been just kind of mashing this together. It's getting to be a little bit more of a cohesive substance. It's kind of blending together. I'm going to use 3 drops of Purification. That's just really going to help freshen me up. Purification is one of the Young Living blends. It has citronella, it has tea tree, rosemary, lavender, myrtle, and lemongrass. It's just a really good pick-me-up, freshens the environment, will help keep me fresh as well. And it does have a little bit more of a feminine scent. I'm going to use 3 drops. You are certainly welcome to use more or less depending on who this is being used for. And I'm also going to use 3 drops of tea tree oil. Sorry, when I look at the bottle, I'm staring at it. It's not because I've never seen it before. There's a little dot on the edge that helps you drop it in. So I'm going to use 6 drops of oil, and that just seems to be what works for me the best. Like I said, depending upon your body, upon the day, you might need a little bit more. You might be more sensitive to oil, so you might use less. So it just depends on the situation. And like I said, it also depends on the oil that you choose. Some oils are stronger than others. All right, so this is coming together nicely. If you notice, it's kind of one big mass. It almost looks like Play-Doh. And I'm just going to scoop this out. And I'm going to place it in a small mason jar. And we've been working with this, so it is very pliable right this moment. But once it sits in the jar for a little bit, it will harden a tad bit. And also depending, like I said, on the temperature of your house and the environment outside, it could feel hard to the touch when you go to apply it. So I'm just putting it in the jar. It fits perfectly in these small little mason jars. And so it's just in there when I'm ready to use. Like I said, right now it's very pliable because we've been working with it. It won't be this easy when you are applying it yourself. It's not difficult, but it's not going to just scoop out. As you can see, I can just wipe my finger along it and I just apply it underneath my arms on both sides. It blends in nicely. And then during the morning when you come to it, or during the day, it will harden a little bit. So it will be a little bit harder to get out. You might have to put some force on it. And so I just cap it off and I just keep it by my sink or in a drawer nearby. If you do need it to get warmer, just hold it in your hands for a few moments. It will soften up. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that this has helped you to become less dependent on things that you can get from the store and a little bit more independent on what you can make at home. Thanks so much.